All right, guys, Kevinism number 2. Extreme situations are opportunities in disguise.
Ready, set, go!
So come inside, let's see what madness we can find. Come on.
All right, guys, Kevin here. Kevinisms. I said I was going to do all of them, and boy, we're up to 37 of them. Got a list here. Like I said, always, we'll put this up where you guys can see it and pause. Well, if you want to check it out and write it down later on. Try to make this quick. I got to noticing when I was recording the first one that all my bullet points, it's really pushing that 20-minute mark, and I know a lot of people don't like that. I thought about just not giving a damn and just doing it anyway, and if you want to skip through it or whatever, I got to do it my way. But either way, I am going to try to keep these closer to the 10 minutes in the future just so it's easier as far as recording and all that fun stuff. All right, back it is. Number 2, extreme situation. We always, if you're doing anything in life, you will find yourself in situations. Accidents happen, vehicle accidents at work, you're working on your roof, you fall down, conflicts with people, conflicts with family members, all sorts of crazy stuff can happen. But you can't take these negative times in your life as completely negative. These are times that help grow you. And the upside to these negative things is it will push and drive you to a new level. It's kind of like that old saying, guys, to make a sword, you have to heat the metal. You can't make a knife without heating it up and pounding on it. And you kind of got to take that as a metaphor on how life does us. We find ourselves in moments, our best growth is when we come out on the other side of a bad situation, and it pushes us and pulls us, makes us think different ways, and makes us get creative and stuff, and really takes us to a whole nother level. And we probably, as humans, we wouldn't do that to ourselves on purpose. And so when you find yourself in this situation, you got to pause and really reflect on what's really going on. And like I said right here, it challenges you to think out of the box. You got to really, just cause something bad is happening don't mean that you can't get out of it. There's always a way to deal with every situation. And then usually the answer is like right in front of your face, right underneath your nose. And sometimes we're going through things and we got our head down, we're depressed, we're upset, and we're not calming down and looking around, and the answers are usually right around you. You got to just stay calm in a situation and look for the answer. It's there, you just got to look for it. And you can also earn a newfound respect on those around you. Because when you're going through a tough time, there's usually other people involved in one aspect of another. And you'll find a newfound respect for yourself if you allow yourself to do that. Like I said, it gives you, it will put you in a position where you have to, I do this a lot. I get up, I'm looking in the mirror myself, right, who do you choose to be today? Are you a winner today, or are you going to let the world kick you down today? And you gotta be able to look at yourself and ask yourself these tough questions. Because a lot of times, a lot of people don't have the good friend or that good mentor that will look you in the eye and ask you these questions. Most people, they don't like to get in depth on things. They don't want to have those deep conversations. They just want to avoid stuff like that. Now, if you're the type of person who always wants to avoid things, avoid adversity, you're not going to grow very much. You're just not, indeed. All right. The downside. Obviously, everybody says, Kevin, you talking about the upside. I want to start off on a good note, okay? Obviously, there are downsides. Situations, they cause emotional turmoil. You can find yourself really in the dumps. And sometimes, usually the way I work, if something's really bothering me, it'll get me down really hard for like 2 days. Maybe that third or fourth day, I'm starting to get ticked. I ain't gonna lie to you. It starts to make me mad that I've let something put me down for that many days in a row. And then that's usually when I get mad, that's when I usually get fired up, and that's when I usually make a decision to do something about it. But it really, you can, unfortunately, but not everybody has that intestinal fortitude to be able to lift yourself back up. Trust me, I have been knocked down in life way too many times. I mean, it is ridiculous. I'm used to failing. I have tried so many things, and I have failed so many times. Getting knocked down and getting up and knocking the dust off of me, I call that Tuesday. It's just, but some people, well, I'm going to say some, a lot of people, unfortunately, they are not taught how to get knocked down in life and how to get back up. And a lot of times, most people, when they get knocked down, they're down. And it takes someone else to pick them up. And that's great and all, but you got to be able to learn how to pick yourself up. That is the key to survival, is picking yourself up. And also, when you're on this downside, it will push you to try a new process, new mediums. And the negative part of that is, most people don't like trying new things. They like being comfortable. I've always done this way. I've always used this material. I've always done this. And people find comfortability by being that way. But once again, if you want to shine, put yourself in a very uncomfortable place. Have uncomfortable talks with people. That's when problems get solved. And too many times, people in this world, we are taught, if it feels uncomfortable, don't do it. No. It's the uncomfortableness is what will lead you to success. And two, when you're down like this, trying to achieve, it feels like you're trying to achieve the impossible. When you're down, boy, that mountain really looks extra high. It just like, how in the world am I going to climb out of this hole that I've gotten myself in? And this is where, unfortunately, people find themselves and commit suicide. And I tell you what, the first time I ever heard about it, we had a kid at our school, in my high school. I think I was a sophomore. And I've never thought much of suicide. It just wasn't ever in my scale of thinking. And then one of our kids, he just went off to the church steps and killed himself. And I remember when I got told that. And I knew the guy decent. I mean, we wasn't friends, but we wasn't against each other. I mean, if we seen each other, we had to sit at the table together. We conversated and not no big deal. But I never thought of that. I didn't think he was that, but I didn't know nothing about him. I didn't know his lifestyle at his home or anything like that, or what he might have been going through with his other friends or a girlfriend or whatever. I just never thought it. And I remember it just blew me away that I just would never thought of going to school with somebody that would do it. And we lived out in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee, a school, a whole entire high school of 405 students. I mean, and our graduating class, if we were lucky, we got 100 kids to graduate on a senior in any classroom. So it was very shocking considering from where we was from. We wasn't from the big city where there's thousands of people and craziness going on. We lived very simple lives where we come from. So it was just shocking. And that's the bad thing about when you're down like this. This is where you really start needing to really work on the muscle of getting up and accepting that true failure is not trying again. That's the best answer I can give you. True failure is not trying again. It's when you fail, what you got to do, you have to assess the minor failure, make list what worked, what didn't work, come up with a new plan, go for it. And then even if it takes 2 or 3 more times, you will learn and get new information to help you climb that ladder of success that you're trying to climb. Every time something does not work out, you're getting one step closer. But it's all about your attitude on how you handle when it don't work out, when you think it's going to work out. That's the name of the game. You've got to be able like the old Rocky movies. You got to be able to take a hit and be able to keep getting hit and know how to get up and keep moving forward. That was probably one of the greatest lines I've ever heard in movie history. That right there, if you have that attitude, I actually, if you've never heard, go to YouTube and find that. It's on Rocky 6. Take that clip. Watch it every morning before you walk out the house. It will do you some good. All right, the resolve in all this. What do we do with all this information that we got here? Unfortunately, this is why most people don't do anything and they stay afraid. They're afraid of backlash. And that they just use all this information that I said today as a reason to give up and just don't try. And it's most unfortunate because and through my life, I'm 53, I have met a lot of just naturally talented and creative people, but I've seen them just set back and just kind of give up and just don't push themselves, don't put themselves out there because they had a few things that didn't go right, or they put their artwork out there and people might not have accepted it or agreed with it or liked it as much. And it's just sad because I've seen these guys who are guys and girls who are so talented that they just give up because the world slapped them a little bit. And I'm just like, no, you got to keep going. When you keep at something, you're only going to get better and better and better. You got to ignore all that negativity and just keep working at it. And so how do you decide? You got to look deep down inside yourself. Like I said, you got to get in front of that mirror and have some conversations with yourself. And if you feel like you ain't really going anywhere, you got to find a mentor. And I would prefer your mentor to be non-family. Because, unfortunately, even when you grow up, we still do this right here. Children, and whether you're children or adult, it don't matter. Families tend not to listen to each other too well. Just like a kid, when the mom and dad tells them not to do anything, they just don't listen because that's mom and dad tell them that. Whether it be brother and sister or whatever, it just, family members, it goes in one ear out the other. And maybe it's supposed to be like that, but unfortunately it is. But when you have a mentor, someone who don't have stakes really in your lifestyle, someone who can be very opinionated and very objective, and they can say, hey, this is right, this is wrong, here's what you need to do, here's what you need to stay away from. You know, if you do this, this is going to happen. If you do this, that's going to happen. And they need to be cut and dry and just very clear and to the point. And then that way you can get a sense, right? They're not just like a mom telling their kids, oh, I love you, you're so beautiful. Of course, you're my mom, you're supposed to say that. A good mentor, a lot of the times, will tell you stuff that you will not like to hear. You're just not going to like it. But don't mean it ain't correct. Don't mean you don't need that. Don't mean it's not good for you. And I think I have been blessed. I've had 6 to 7 mentors, and every one of them done me that way. They just sit down, hey, no, don't do that. You know, hey, you're better than that. Hey, you need to do this because I see this talent in you, and this is the direction I think you need to try to go in. This over here, no, you don't need to go. That just ends in a lot of bad things. And I'm telling you what, folks, every time I've ever listened to my mentors, good things come out of it. Didn't say it was perfect. Didn't say the road didn't ever get rocky, but the path was true, and that's what mentorship's all about. So at the very end of this, you got a choice. I have a choice. You got a choice. We all have a choice. Are you a doer? Or are you a talker? Are you going to talk about making changes in your life? Or are you going to make changes in your life? And that's the difference in winners and losers. Is a lot of people talk about it, or they stay quiet and they do nothing, or you put other people, they start like I do, making notes, making a game plan, things I need to buy, things I need to prepare, things I need to learn, and start laying the foundation, taking those baby steps. You got to have that big goal, but you need these little baby steps, these little minor goals, these little tiny goals to really start. Because once you start making a few of those, and yep, I did this, okay, that worked, now I got this, I put that together, I got this plan, I got that one in action, got that flowing, and once you start doing enough of these little baby steps, That's where your confidence comes from. You start building that tougher skin. You start seeing things in a whole new light. Instead of being, man, I just don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, you start seeing, yep, I have what it takes to get there. I just got to work it. I just got to do the steps. I just got to keep my eyes on the prize and keep marching. Even though if I have a bad day, if something don't go correct, back up one step, reassess the situation, make a new plan, keep marching forward. And ladies and gentlemen, if I can do it, you can do it. We all have the power to choose to be a doer, to choose the right path. You just got to suck up a little courage and face it. Now, it's not going to be perfect. It's not supposed to be, because anything worthwhile of doing is going to be tough to get. Anything easily attained, you just don't have the meaning. Because it's just think of something. If somebody just hands you something, oh, here you go. It don't have the value. Now, if you work hard, say like you saved your money up for 2 years, and boom, you go and buy a car, man, you're going to take care of that car. Because you worked for it. You got the sweat equity in there. And that's what makes a difference. And your every day-to-day life, your future, that's what your future needs. You to put that time involved, that hard work, that planning, that saving, put it in it. It's going to be tough. You're going to take some licks. You're going to get knocked down. But I'm here to tell you, folks, me, you, and everybody else, we all have the courage deep down inside to get up and make something of ourselves. Just let it go and go for it. You got it. I'm Kevin Sexton. Hope you enjoyed this Kevinism number 2. Extreme situations are opportunities in disguise. Thank you.